So good, so good, so good.
New markdowns up to 70% off are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. And that means thousands of can't-miss deals just in time for summer.
The denim section is unreal.
Why do I rack? All the dresses.
I always find something amazing.
Plus, buy it online and pick it up in-store the same day for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
This is Cop Talk, talking crime, cases, and backing the blue. Now, here are your hosts, Ed Mamet and Kevin Schroeder.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cop Talk. My name is Kevin Schroeder, retired NYPD detective, and I'm here with my co-host, Captain Ed Mamet.
Hello, WABC listeners. Nice to be with you again.
Today, we're honored to have a special guest, Chief Kevin Schneider, 43 years on the police department in Newark, New Jersey. Chief, say hello.
Hello, everybody out there. And Kev and Ed, I want to thank you for having me on this broadcast. And I want to, thank WABC. I've been listening to WABC since the 1960s. Great radio station. John Casamatini. I'm glad he bought it and brought it back to life. And I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin. 43 years, Kevin, of the Newark Police Department. That is some career. Congratulations on your recent retirement, which I believe was about a week ago, after 43 years. So tell me about your career. I mean, you went up the rank from police officer to chief. Actually, you grew up in Newark, New Jersey, correct?
That's correct. I just want to say I'd still be there. I turned 65, so I did have to retire. I had 43 great years.
So 65 is the age limit in
Yes.
Newark, New Jersey. In New York City Police Department, it's 63. You're 65.
Right, 65. So that's pretty lenient. The federal law enforcement, I think, is 57. State police is 55. So Newark is generous. New Jersey's generous with 65. So I what you call aged out, and I retired, and I had 43 great years, and looking forward to retirement.
The state police is still 55?
I believe it is.
Right.
I believe it is.
Because it was
It's in
like
the
that like
50s.
35 years ago when I lectured them down in Seagirt.
Yeah, I believe it's still 55.
So, Kevin, I've known you over 25 years personally, and I've always knew you as a chief. I mean, were you ever a police officer? I mean, tell me about your career, how you started.
I'm actually a deputy chief. I've been acting chief several times when the chiefs are on leave or vacation. I'm a deputy chief now, but I came on in 1980. I was 1 year on in East Orange Police Department, great police department. What happened back then, it was a civil service. I took the civil service test, and my desire was to be on Newark Police. I was born in Newark, raised in Newark, and I wanted to be a Newark police officer. But when we took the test, there was a block you can check off, and if you were considering employment with East Orange, so I did. And East Orange called me first, and I spent about a year and 3 months on East Orange. And in 1981, June of 81, I went on Newark Police Department. 43 years on, and I've been almost half of it. I've been a deputy chief. I made deputy chief in 2003, so that's about 20 years deputy chief.
And you were chief of detectives, and what else were you chief of?
My last position, I was in charge of Detective Bureau, so I was referred to Chief of Detectives. I was in charge of professional standards, third precinct, gang and narcotics. I've been in several different positions, and all were good, all were learning experience. And I did finish as Chief of Detectives. I was Chief of Detectives probably 3 times under 3 different directors.
You also attended Fairleigh Dickinson University, correct?
Yes, that's one thing I'd like to talk about is they have Fairleigh Dickinson has a great program for law enforcement personnel and military personnel. Their tuition's half price, and I took advantage of that. And they have very convenient class hours to accommodate the schedules of police officers and the first responders, firefighters, OEM, and it's a great program, and it's a good idea for young officers to take advantage, or any officer to take advantage and get their bachelor's degree. I went and got a master's out of Fairleigh Dickinson University, and then I went on to Seton Hall University and got an education specialist degree. So I took advantage of that. Seton Hall had a similar program for law enforcement and military, and I'd strongly encourage that to continue your education.
So, Kevin, your last one of your last acts, or I should say a job you responded to with 2 cops shot at. Thankfully, nobody was hit. Can you tell us a little bit about that? One of your last appearances before you retired in regards to responding to a crime scene?
Well, yeah, that was a recent shooting. Our vice detectives were out there working in the 3rd Precinct area, and there's problems out there with stolen cars. And they observed a team of, I believe, 2 juveniles and 1 male going, looking into cars, acting suspicious. They confronted them and they were fired upon. Thank God nobody was hit on that. Nobody was shot. And there were arrests made and a gun was recovered. But it just shows you, the daily things that the officers have to be concerned with. It's something, you always have to put in the back of your mind and be careful. Our officers acted great. Nobody was shot at. In return, fired. They put an end to the situation very quickly and made the arrest, and thank God nobody was hurt.
Chief, Newark has had its share of disorder and protest. I can remember back in the 60s, there were riots there and the National Guard was called in. And recently, you've had your share of protest, but there were no injuries to your cops. Can you talk about that?
Well, yes. The year 2020 to present, we experienced COVID. We experienced a lot of things going on nationwide. After George Floyd, there was protest and rioting, social unrest throughout the country. Now, we had our share of protesters come in. I believe we had over 10 large protests. But, with the men and women of the Newark Police Department, the backing of the mayor and the community, not one protester was arrested, not one officer was injured, and everything went pretty smooth. And I got to say, it was, you don't know what's going to occur, but especially when you see throughout the nation, there was rioting, looting, burning, and none of that occurred in our city. And we had a handle on it, I believe, because of intelligence. You know what crowds are coming, what organizations are going to be coming, and you prepare for it. And we've always had 200% support from Mayor Ross Baraka. And he was always out there, always gave us what we needed. We were always ready for the protesters. And it was an orderly protest we had in Newark. And it turned out to be a good experience instead of a bad experience, which a lot of locations throughout the nation did experience negative.
Were you coordinating with the New York City Police Department that had a major share of the problem?
Well, we are, in contact with New York City, and we didn't have them in our city during our protests, but our intelligence certainly watched what was going on in New York, and we were aware of could be the same groups coming into Newark, but we were very fortunate. We had no injuries and no arrest, no officers injured, no protesters injured. Everything was pretty orderly for the most part.
Well, another tribute to your leadership was the your homicides down a 60-year low, I understand. According to the figures I have here, you had 15% reduction over the past year. Shootings are down 35%, rapes down 12%, aggravated assaults down 9%. Can you tell us how you accomplished that?
Yes, I'd like to say I accomplished it, but I did not. It had really very little to do with me. It had to do with a great police department, great leadership. We have a great director, Fritz Ferget, a great chief, Manuel Miranda. I was just part of their team, and I was very proud to be part of their team. And we had great directors in the past, Anthony Ambrose, Brian O'Hara, the director Santiago, just to name a few. I know I missed some, but I was part of the team, what was very successful. In the year 2022, why most major cities in the country were going up in homicides and shootings. Ours was coming down. Our shootings were down in 2022, 33%, which was very considerable. And our homicides were down an all-time low since 1961. I think we experienced under 50 homicides, UCR homicides. And we had an excellent closeout rate because of our detective bureau and great investigators we have, our homicide squad, which we liaison with Essex County Prosecutor's Office. We have a great prosecutor there, Theodore Stevens. And we work hand in hand, and it was a combination, I would say, of all law enforcement, Newark PD, Essex County prosecutors. We have a liaison team. We work hand in hand with the federal marshals, FBI, federal agencies, and it's everybody chipping in and reducing crime. And we have great men and women of police officers, and we have 1,000% support from the mayor and the community. So it all works. It's all one big unit against fighting crime, and it seems to be working in our city very well. We couldn't do it without the support of all those parties I said.
Perhaps you could give some advice to the New York City Police Department. What's interesting is the department here in New York touts the fact that the homicides and shootings are down, but they are really not the true measure of crime. Every other crime is up. The public really is concerned about their cars being stolen, burglaries, robberies on the street. They're not so much concerned about gang shootings because they don't occur in those neighborhoods. They occur in certain areas of the city of New York. And what's more disturbing are the other six index crimes. As for those in the audience that don't know what the index crimes are, the FBI measures crime according to 7 major categories. Homicide is only one of them. So what you've done is pretty interesting. Maybe you can give some lessons to the New York City Police Department of how to reduce overall crime in all major categories.
Well, again, thank you. You're referring to what I've done. It's actually a team effort. I'm just part of the team, and very proud to be there, part of that team. But we have our ComStat meetings every week, and just more than ComStat. But we don't only concentrate on homicides, shootings. I mean, that's one of our top priorities, but we concentrate on every index crime, as you would say. Auto thefts, we concentrate robberies, rapes, and we have each section handling them in all the, obviously, patrol division. And we're down on just about every one of them. Again, 2022, we had a good year. 2021, 20, we were going down, and when everybody was going up. And, we just maintain constant presence, constant intelligence on all aspects of crime, not just homicides and shootings. But that's obviously our major concern, violence crimes. But we do have an issue with auto thefts, and we do try to keep a lid on that. We have, auto investigations, our auto squad, and constantly we're trying to curtail stolen autos.
Well, your mayor is taking credit for, I guess, what we would call ComStat. He says that he identifies hotspots and addresses that, but it's not really him. It's the police department that's doing it. But I assume you have good support from the mayor.
Well, we have, again, tremendous support from the mayor, and he really steers the ship, and he puts excellent people in. He put an excellent director in, this time an excellent chief, and he's had excellent people in the past leading the department. And, again, he steers the ship, and he's very concerned with crime, and we do concentrate on our hotspots. We put, it's almost called cops on the dots. We put the police officers where they're needed, and we constantly monitor crime, the trends, and we're not only where they're needed, but when they're needed, the time that these offenses are occurring, and we've been pretty successful at it.
I want to ask you, as you know, stop, question, and frisk is a national policy that's upheld by the United States Supreme Court. Have you had a problem with that, like New York has had? Because it is a valuable tool for police officers as long as it's not abused and overused.
Well, I've been a police officer 43 years, and the men and women of the Newark Police Department, I've never seen them run up to anybody and bother somebody or detain them for no legitimate purpose. I think that this, you need reasonable suspicion to stop somebody, and we've always had reasonable suspicion, and that's what the Newark Police Department, I've never seen anything other than people being stopped without reasonable suspicion. However, we did have an issue with it. Because I believe our documentation wasn't done as well as it should have been done. In other words, when you stop somebody, you'd have reasonable suspicion, which is a reason why you would stop. And later on, you would do a report of that. We used to call them field interrogations, and you would indicate your reason. A lot of this, they're so active in Newark. These officers are so active. They do a great job. And they would omit certain things, and we were sued because of field interrogations not being up to par. I would agree that we needed more work on documenting this, and we came under consent decree. The consent decree lasted for over 5 years. It's a federal board overseeing the Newark Police Department. I don't see anything negative about that. They gave us some good ideas. They monitor us. We've been coming out with great success with the consent decree, and I think probably within a year we will not have that. New York City referred to it as stop and frisk. We just didn't run up to people and frisk them. We've always had a reason. You do a surveillance, you see open air narcotic activity, and you would do a proper police procedure. However, it should have been documented with the field interrogations, more documentation.
Chief, can you tell us about the Office of Violence Prevention and Trauma recovery? What's that all about?
Yes, that was Mayor Ross Baraka's idea when most departments were across the nation cutting the budget, the police budget, and manpower. Mayor Baraka actually initiated the Office of Violence Prevention. It's a great tool for fighting crime in the city, and it supplements the police department. We work hand in hand. Prior to that, the police officers were doing the job what these professionals are doing now. So we have professionals in there, professional psychologists, social workers, who actually address the crime after and before it happens. Let's just say if there's a traumatic situation, we'll call them. They'll get involved with the family, with the victims, and they'll do a great social service or what needs to be done. Prior to that, it was lacking, or it would be up to the police department's responsibility, but we are experts in crime fighting, and now we have the experts in the social services working. It's working well. We supplement each other.
Chief, how many police officers does Newark Police Department have?
Well, it varies, but I'm going to say approximately 1,000 now. In my day, years ago, we had up to 1,700. So now it happens when, everybody hits 25 years, people retire. I'm the only guy who stays on after that. I'm joking, but there's a lot of retirements, and we have to supplement those with new recruits coming on. And Mayor Baraka, again, a great supporter of the police department. He's hiring as much as he can, and we're putting them in, but people are retiring, and we have about 1,000 now, but it's great to see more and more come on.
So do you have a problem with recruitment and retention? I know not retaining yourself because you've been here 43 years, but I mean with the, the recruits today?
Well, it seems like young people are interested in different fields, but I would strongly say come on to the police department. It's, again, civil service department, and it's great opportunity. With Newark, you can go up the ladder or sideways, and it has a lot of opportunities. It takes care, it's lucrative. You're making a decent salary coming on, and you can go up the ladder making more money, obviously, the more you go up the ladder. There's also outside employment we have, which is lucrative to supplement, young officers who are raising families. They can do outside employment. And so it's a great opportunity for young people to come on. And I would encourage it to come on. It's just, I think socially and throughout the nation, there's been negativity about being a police officer. And I hope to dispel that. It's a great career. And I would encourage young people to come on.
Well, that's what the purpose of these podcasts is, to bolster the police image. That's why we're doing this.
Right. And then, one thing with if somebody is interested in coming on a police department, I would say that they should be in shape. They should start running, start working out so that they can pass the physical. That, unfortunately, some people do come on and they're not used to doing push-ups or running, and then they could wash out, which is unfortunate.
Kevin, tell us about your workout. I understand you work out, you have some intense workout that you, perform yourself. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, I do have a bit of I work out daily. I remember hearing Clint Eastwood once, they asked him how he stays in shape. He says, just do something every day. And that's what I try to do. And I don't have a lot of time because I did work part-time. I also work for St. Barnabas Medical Center, a great hospital, healthcare system in New Jersey. Cooperman Barnabas, I'll give that a little plug, healthcare. And great hospital. They have hospitals throughout New Jersey. But I work for them also, and I didn't have a lot of time. So I got into stair running, and I wanted to intense, hard workouts with a short period of time. Then to make it a little harder, I put a vest on, make it a little harder. Or as I graduate, I've been doing probably 20, 25 years. I put an 80-pound heavy bag on, and sometimes a vest on that, run 23 flights up and down at least twice. And parking garages, anything goes up, hills, and I try to do it 3 times a week. If it doesn't kill you, it's good for you.
But you took the elevator up here.
I did take the elevator up.
I'm surprised he didn't run up here with 100-pound weights on his back, because when I first met you, I think you ran past me with a 100-pound vest on.
Yeah. Well, I got 40-pound vests, but sometimes I double them up.
Kevin, what can other police departments in the U.S. basically learn from your success, Newark success, from Newark Police Department with crime?
Well, to be successful, the police, again, it's a slogan, what's overused, can't do it alone. But you need the cooperation of the mayor, and which is what we have. We have, again, tremendous cooperation from the mayor. One of his top priorities is keeping crime down. And then you have to have a good morale in the police department, that the police officers want to do the job, that they feel they're supported. I know in New York City, there's some issues with that because, it seems like the police officers' hands are tied a little too much in New York City. In New Jersey, we don't have as much confines as the NYPD does, but you have to keep the morale at a high level for the men and women of the police department to do an excellent job. And I'd say in Newark, they absolutely do. They don't relax. In other words, they're very active police officers. We recover, I'd say, at least 2 guns a day. And thank God there's no unfortunate incidents, what you hear nationwide. So they're very, very professional in how they do their crime fighting. And I believe that the men and women of the police department do feel that the mayor has their back, the chief and director, the command staff has their back, and they do an excellent job. You also need the community on your side. Without the community on your side, you're not going to be as successful. And I think that's why we were so successful with the protests that came in. The community was on our side, the side of law enforcement. They didn't want outside agitators coming in and ruining any of their city or causing disruption in their city. So they're on our side, we're on their side. It all works as one. And also you need good prosecution. Again, I mentioned Prosecutor Stevens, great guy, and he is very concerned with full prosecutions and making these people realize that if they commit a crime in Newark, they're going to be held accountable. And also, I'd just like to say one other thing. I didn't mention when we were talking about homicides. Our homicide squad has an 84%, maybe it's higher, closeout rate, and our shooting has almost 70% closeout rate. So we're closing out these jobs too. So if you do crime in Newark, you're going to be caught and held accountable. Also, I mentioned that we need the assistance of the prosecutors. They're right on board. They do great prosecutions. We work hand in hand with them. And we do have a liaison team where we do use federal agencies, the FBI, the federal marshals, ATF, DEA, New Jersey State Police. We work hand in hand with the state police. As a matter of fact, Director Fritz Vergé was a high-ranking state trooper, and he retired, came on our side. He worked with Newark with our real-time crime center. That's an intelligence unit we have with all outside agencies in there, and he was in charge of it. And when he retired from state police, he came on Newark doing an excellent job, and we're still keeping crime down. So you need all your partners to make one unit and to fight crime. And in Newark, I say we have it all. We have that. And that's what makes us so successful. Other departments throughout the country, I would say that they need those things. And if they're lacking in one, they're not going to be as successful as we have been.
You know, Kevin, my personal experience with the Newark Police Department was 2001, May of 2001. I was with the Midtown North Detective Squad, and we caught a homicide known as the Carnegie Deli homicide.
Yes.
And so we wound up going out to Newark, New Jersey. I was part of a team with homicide guys to go out to Newark, New Jersey, and conduct and execute probably about 15 search warrants. The Newark Police Department was very helpful, and as I was visiting some of their commands, some of their precincts, I couldn't believe, how busy they were out there. They're helping us with our homicide here in New York, and they're running out of their own homicides. They were really, really helpful. Everyone was great. A lot of hardworking police officers in Newark, New Jersey. But that was my experience. I never forget 2001 before 9/11. It was May of 2001. 5 people shot above the Carnegie Deli.
Right,
homicide.
I remember that job.
Really had nothing to do with the Carnegie Deli, but they named it the Carnegie Deli homicide. So,
right.
But those guys out there were great.
Right, and I got to say that our emergency service unit or SWAT team, they do a fabulous job. They've been averaging 1 search warrant a day, I would say, and they work hand in hand with our intelligence squad. And when we know that we're going after violent criminals, we take our SWAT team, and it works pretty smooth where there's no injuries to the actor or the police officers. So we do that day in and day out, and it amazes me how good, these people work, especially in Comstat when I see everybody has all the answers. And it works like a well-oiled machine.
Speaking about Newark again, Prudential Center. Do you guys play a part in that in regards to security for the Prudential Center when they have events there, like say hockey games or concerts? What is the part of the Newark Police Department when it comes to the Prudential Center?
Yes, we have our Metro unit, what covers that area. And it's since the Prudential Center was built, it's been basically, I'm not going to say crime-free, but, there's been no major incidents of any spectators coming in. They're safe. We have our Metro unit, Captain Tommy Rowe. He does an excellent job. And we make sure that the people coming in and leaving are safe. The whole general area is safe. And it's our Metro division. They do an excellent job in that area so people can feel safe coming in and out. There's been no incidents of anybody being disturbed or what have you. Everything works good. Plenty of parking by the area. You take the train in, however you want to come in. But there's been no incidents of any negative things. And we've had some great concerts there, and the place is always packed. And our Metro division does an excellent job.
They actually do. I've been to many events out there, and the Newark Police Department really, the flow of traffic, the crowd control, it's really awesome. They do a great job out there. Kevin, I was at your walkout about a week ago, and it was a really great turnout, rightfully so. With that said, what are your future plans in regards to coming back? Are you going to, at any capacity, will you be coming back to the Newark Police Department or working for the city at any level, besides maybe running for mayor soon?
Well, I'm not going to run for mayor, but, we have an excellent mayor now, as I said. But, the walkout, I tell you, I appreciate you coming, Kev, and it was pretty spectacular. I was so glad I did it. I was kind of just thinking of just leaving out the back door and saying goodbye to everybody. But the walkout was spectacular. I want to thank the director-in-chief for really making that possible. My cousin Johnny Cuff, and also a good buddy, Ricky Carroll, who you know. We had the Forest Hill Country Club afterwards, which is a fabulous day. I retired 43 years, and I may be coming back in some civilian capacity to public safety. It'd be my honor. And again, if I could still be there, I would.
I know you would, and you still are there.
Well, I want to thank you for appearing. It was great. And again, I think you could teach the New York City Police Department a few things. Even though you're a smaller agency, you're a microcosm of New York, but you had some very good ideas.
Well, thank you very much. It's been my honor for coming here, and really WABC is, historic radio station. And again, I remember it from the 60s, and, really appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Chief Kevin Schneider, for being on an episode of Cop Talk. Thank you so much. Be safe out there. Hope to see you real soon, Kevin. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And if you like what you hear today, please subscribe to Cop Talk. Thank you. Be safe out there.